Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the extra time segment for Everton 2, Leicester City 1. Everton, like I said yesterday, make it 7 points out of 9. Wasn't done the easy way, nonetheless. It was a very Everton performance in that respect, and I've got Terry with me to run the rule over it. What did you think of the game, Terry? It was a game of two halves, to use that cliche, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was not a stress-free watch. It was it was hard on the blood pressure to watch it. I've got to be honest, because I was nervous all the way from about 30 minutes onwards. You say it was a game of two halves. I felt like it was in 3 blocks of half an hour, and we had the better of the first half an hour, and then we just defended for the second half an hour and the last half hour. But 3 points is all that matters, and another good performance from Carlo Ancelotti and the defence, if nobody else in the team, because defensively we were excellent again, and the substitutions absolutely changed the game. And it was strange watching an Everton team in recent times having good game management, which is what we had with those substitutions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd have been the only one when Leicester scored who was absolutely shaking with nerves, wondering what the next worst case scenario could be, given what we've already experienced against Newcastle this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not to say those things can't happen again, but it was very refreshing and sign of a very good change that we didn't just collapse after that goal. How many times in the last couple of seasons have you seen Everton concede in that scenario or in that fashion and concede another one straight away, and then they're on the back foot then clinging on to a point of a game they were winning?
Definitely.
Really, really good performance from the whole back four again. Pickford not as good this time. He had like a 10
Definitely
minute.
not. I
He
think
had like a 10-minute spell where he was causing absolute panic in the back, but thankfully wasn't punished for it.
I think I gave him a bit of a vote of confidence. It was on one of our shows last week, and I was saying he's been quite mature since the restart, and he's been less erratic and been a lot more composed and stopped pulling stupid faces and stuff. And he seems to just like go back on all of that in that sort of 10-minute spell you're on about, which is, it's a bit annoying. Now I've got a bit of egg on my face now, so thanks for that, Jordan.
It didn't cost us in the end, and any keeper can make a mistake, but it's not even the mistakes so as much of Pickford, it's his attitude towards them. He laughs when he near costs us goals, and it's just like,
come on, mate, get a grip.
You make this, yeah. Gary Neville's given criticised them before for that, laughing when he's made a big error, and he's just going, it's not funny, and it isn't funny. But thankfully Michael Keane was on hand to spare his blushes, because obviously he got away with that one and obviously got the result. So it can, it's easy to be very forgiving when you've won, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but let's just make sure it doesn't happen again. But unfortunately, with Jordan Pickford, it seems like it will happen again, because it's just his nature. He seems to laugh at his errors. But yeah, Michael Keane again. I think Sky gave him the man of the match, and I think I wouldn't turn my nose up at that, because it was another fantastic display from him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's been brilliant since he came back. He was only just edged out for the man of the match against Liverpool by, I think it was Mason Holgate. But he was probably second for man of the match that game. He got the man of the match against Norwich, and he was man of the match this game. He's been our top performer since we came back. Oh no, I tell a lie. It was Coleman against Liverpool, wasn't
Coleman,
it? Yeah, which is fair enough. But Michael Keane over the 3 games has just been absolutely excellent. So probably to the surprise of a few people, certainly myself, I'd got to the point where I thought Michael Keane may have been, his time at Everton may have been coming to an end. 2 years left on his contract, and we're getting linked with other central defenders. But he's been brilliant since the restart. Obviously we've had 3 games where we've had to defend a lot more than we would have liked. Like, Liverpool and Leicester at home. Obviously they're not your typical home games, which we're playing against very, very good attacking teams with very, very good forwards. And then obviously away from home, we've got that sort of workman-like performance against Norwich. So the games have suited him, but he's been absolutely fantastic, and all credit to him.
Yeah, it was another great defensive display, in spite of the first goal we conceded since the restart, which was an interesting one, wasn't it? I mean, it was a half back to I don't know, it was a half back to Marco Silva a little bit, that wasn't it, just kicking the ball in off someone's head. It was the kind of goal where normally you'd say, oh, typical Everton, but thankfully we didn't capitulate, like you say, and we'll go back into the first half and we'll look at a few positives, let's say, because we actually did start the game pretty well. I mean, Leicester had most of the ball, but we were very dangerous on the counter-attack, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, we seem to have set ourselves up like that now. Obviously, it might, we get even better when we get better players to execute it. But given the players that Carlo's got, I think, defending resolutely and trying to hit on the break with our forwards who are very good, very quick forwards who can, connect well together. That seems to be how we're getting most of our joy. So the first goal, really good. Luca Dean does really well to keep it in. Not just keep it in, but that header is almost perfectly weighted and perfectly placed into the path of Anthony Gordon. Obviously, finally gets a chance to show what he can do going forward, because every time he's played since the restart, he's been having to do a defensive job first and foremost, whereas in this game he got to get on the ball a little bit more. Brilliant cutback, and then Richarlison, bet your life, 1-8 finish, doesn't miss, does he? Great goal, and just a great flow and move. It was nice to see Anthony Gordon get the assist, and obviously Richarlison opened his account for the restart.
Yeah, it was great, and obviously we have to touch on, he picked up a knock Richarlison, didn't he, and he went off. And obviously I think that told we struggled a bit when he went off, but how serious is it? I think Carlo said that it's not too bad.
Yeah, he said it's just a knock. He should be all right for Monday, I think is what he said in the post-match, which is good. Obviously a player as important as him just wrap up in cotton wool, don't have him doing anything.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the players we cannot afford to be without. I know we've got Moise Keane there, so it's not like we haven't got a body who could come in, but he'd have to play like he did against Newcastle for every game in order to give us what Richarlison gives us.
If that carries on, we might have to bring Nias back on a short-term contract.
Why not?
But then let's touch on the other massive talking point of this game. Everton actually got a penalty in the Premier League.
I mean, the 38 games since the last one, so nearly a full season of fixtures before we got given another one. And they had a good long look. They were trying their best not to get it to us, weren't they? but we got it. And Gylfi Sigurdsson, if he does that in a packed Goodison, it gets saved. He wouldn't get out alive.
Oh my God!
It was a poor penalty. I mean, as poor as one that goes in the net can be. He just sort of tamely hits it down the middle, which is great if it goes in like it did. But if the keeper saves that with his feet, he'd have been a marked man. But yeah, the first penalty, and feels like in colour television, and we scored it. So 2-0 lead, commanding. Obviously, I don't think many people would have expected that going into the game to go ahead so well. Then the rest of the game was just a case of protecting what we've got. Obviously, outside of the unfortunate mistake by Holgate, we did well. I can't think of very many good chances that Leicester created for themselves. Obviously, they had a lot of possession, a lot of good possession. They had, we had a few frights, but often it was Pickford doing it himself, or Holgate smashing it against one of their players. Maddison, when he came on, changed the whole game. He's a great player. He came on and he just ran rampant. It took Ancelotti to make the change. He brought Richarlison off and put Tom Davies on. It wasn't a case of just Tom Davies going to do a man marking job on Maddison, because he didn't, but he went and marked that half space that Maddison was floating about in front of the back four. So every time Maddison was on the ball, he didn't have Tom Davies wearing him like a coat. He had Tom Davies right in his way wherever he wanted to carry the ball to. So he had to give it and go, and he really did a good job of nullifying his effectiveness. But the changes by Leicester did really, give them the impetus. But then Carlo Ancelotti
nullified that. I think he
earned his money. He nullified it. His changes sort of like cancelled out their changes, and Maddison didn't have as good a game once Davies came on, and Iheanacho was getting a lot of joy because he obviously had a lot more energy. Vardy was terrible, wasn't he? But he had a lot more energy, a lot more better movement than Vardy. But then when Mina came on, he found Iheanacho was drifting out of the game.
Yeah, I think Carlo Ancelotti deserves a hell of a lot of credit for getting us over the line in that game, because those were very brave decisions that you know for a fact that a lot of our previous managers would not have made.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's really good at game management. It's obviously come from being at the bigger clubs his whole career. He recognises when things are going wrong. This is something that we've not really had in not just Marco Silva and a lot of our previous managers. Moyes is getting criticised for that at West Ham. Is that he's terrible with the substitutions. He never makes enough, and when he does, they're too late. Carlo has made the changes in these games. He hasn't made a lot of changes. Maybe that's something that he doesn't think's appropriate considering the squad he's got and the lack of depth. But he's made key changes when it matters, and he's positively affected the games each time in our favour.
Yeah, it's these are the times when you know the sort of difference in levels of a manager, and I think we've got one of the best now, and that's pretty much going to. I think that could earn us another 6 or 7 points between now and the end of the season if you include what we've already done. And
well, this is the thing: is that Carlo's greatest strength might be able to cancel out the Everton that factor. Like when we conceded our goal and we were under the cosh, everyone I think felt we're about to Everton this right up.
Yeah,
and then Carlo just sort of nullified that completely. It's like, no, we're not doing this. We're not conceding quick fire goals and surrendering a 2-goal lead. I'm going to make changes and change the shape and take the game back out of their hands.
It was very, very refreshing to see, because it's not something, like you say, we've not experienced that kind of composure for a long, long time. And oh my God, it's a good feeling, isn't it? I didn't think Everton had it in them to see a game out like that.
No, I know. I mean, it's good to, we're going into these games now because let's be honest, former sides, currently Leicester are better than us and Liverpool certainly are better than us, but it's good to go into these games against the better teams at the minute and not think, oh, we'll be lucky to get anything here. We're going in with genuine, with a genuine view that we can get results in these games. And the next step now is to start putting away the teams who are not as good as us, and they do the low block themselves and just want to counter. We haven't had, much opportunity for that. Obviously, we had Norwich away, and it was a very.
But Norwich are also playing for the 3 points because they needed to stay up. But
yeah, it's a gradual process, and the signs so far are good from Carlo. Good since the restart. Got to build on that now. We've got is it Tottenham or Wolves?
Spurs next.
Obviously that's that's not easy because they've got a good manager as well. In Jose Mourinho, I don't think he'll be caught napping quite like Rodgers was. But yeah, I mean, we've got to put ourselves right in the mix for that Europe conversation. Now that can change game on game, but if you keep winning, keep getting good results, then you're right in the mix. It's not an unrealistic shout now to think we're in there. Bad result for someone else and a good result for us can change it dramatically. It's very, very tight outside the top 2. No.
Yeah, it's up for grabs, isn't it? I mean, just before we finish, we talked about Tom Davies before. I thought he was great in the derby, and then he was absolutely horrific in the Norwich game. I thought he come on and did brilliantly yesterday.
Yeah, he did a good job for what he was, asked to do. This is the thing with Tom. He's always been a bit like this, hasn't he? He'll have, a few good games, a few bad games, then a few good games, and a few bad games. Or he's never got any consistency, and that's just something he needs, to work on. But the examples are there. Like at the start of the season, not many people would have thought that at the end of the season we'll look upon Calvert-Lewin and Holgate as 2 of our absolutely nailed-on starters and 2 of our strongest players. But here we are, a year later, and that's what they are. And so it's not to say every young player can do that, but it shows that it can turn around very quickly for a young player. So Tom Davies has got the opportunity now, especially in these last run of games before the transfer market opens, when we are going to be buying centre midfielders. At least you'd hope so. He's got to say, right, I need to absolutely smash it in these games, and I can make myself, an option in that middle of the pitch. Now, if he plays well in the rest of the games, then you'll just look at that Norwich game as like an anomaly. But if he plays poorly against Spurs, then comes back and plays well again the next game, it'll show he's not ready, and obviously he might not be looked at or trusted as one of the options for centre midfield. But if he can put a run of performances together now to go along with Leicester and Liverpool, then he's in that mix, and it's right there for him. Same way with Holgate. Holgate made the most of his opportunity when we didn't get Zuma. Davies needs to do the same now.
Definitely. And one more in focus, if you like, Calvert-Lewin. He was isolated after the Richarlison went off, and he still doesn't half put a shift in, doesn't he?
The ultimate team player, isn't he? Like, he hasn't had much in the way of opportunities since he came back. Obviously, that owes a lot to the way that the performance of the whole team. We've been playing, very defensively and set back and trying to hit on the counter. And then yesterday, when he might have got a little bit more joy, his strike partner went off, so he found himself on his own. But it doesn't affect him. He's still working hard. He's still putting in the yards, so he can do both. Like, I'd like him to get a goal in the next few games, not for our sake because we're still playing well, but more for his sake, just to get his confidence back up. But can't criticise him. He's not had, he could have done maybe better with the header against Liverpool, but he's worked hard every single game, and he's contributed to what were good team performances in each game towards getting the result. Because if he's not busting a gut every game, then the defence might find itself, crack under pressure. He's the first defender in a lot of cases, and I think he's really, really helped us out, especially in this game. He was flogging himself, as we were defending in that last half an hour.
But we'll have to reiterate this because just for maybe some Liverpool fans out there, he's not a defensive striker, is he?
If defensive strikers are a thing, I think he is one. But
not bad for a defensive striker. He's got 13 goals this season.
No, not at all. But he'll have easier games. Like when he's up front on his own, he's not gonna score the goals. He's just not, because if his stats don't bear that out. Like, he's great at everything, except dribble and pass players. I think he's got one of the worst stats for dribble and pass players in the whole league. And that's because it's not his forte. I don't know whether he hasn't got the ability or he hasn't got the confidence to pick up the ball and go past someone. But if you get players up and around him to work with, little 1-2s round the corner, balls crosses in, he will score goals. But playing that lone front man, he won't fashion himself his own chances. That's more Richarlison's department. So if we can get them back together in the next game, then hopefully the goals will come for him.
Definitely. I mean, that's what we've got to look at going forward now, is to try and keep the good form going, because I don't think I remember us talking about this before the season restarted, and I was very scared about how this team might function without fans. But to get 2 wins out of 3, 7 points out of 9, you cannot argue with that, really.
No, not at all. I always wondered, is the crowd's anxiousness and angst like a problem for the players? And the only one you could definitely say anything to is, like, it clearly has helped Michael Keane. Yeah. Michael Keane plays a lot better without the crowd, so maybe we shouldn't go back, and we'll defend like the AC Milan teams of old every time.
That's it. Maybe our fortunes are beginning to turn. Oh my God, I missed that shout though. I'll be honest. That's the one thing you just want to get back in the ground today. That for the first time again.
It's great.
It's just so beautifully Scouse, isn't it? And I mean, but there you go, guys. That's Everton 2, Leicester City 1. Let us know how we thought the game went, and if there's anything that me and Terry have missed, and all the other stuff. Give this video a like and a subscribe. and thank you for watching on the Toffee Blues.